Um, do we know the year of Jubilee, or is there just varying opinions all over the place, or is there somebody we can trust on that? Do we know that what that is?
Oh boy. All right. Mark Bills is convinced that we're coming up into the year of Jubilee. Okay. And I will not make his argument for him. It is a very compelling argument. All right.
Okay.
I'm not going to say that he has the final word on the matter, but it is a compelling argument. Years ago, when I was in Israel, I had the opportunity to talk to a pretty learned man. And I asked him basically the same question. You know, when is the Shmita? You know, when is the Yovel? Because at that time, and even to some degree today, there's different people out there saying different things. That this was the Shmita, and this one was saying that one's the Shmita. And you know, my question was based on the fact that it looked to me as if this is something that was calculated once the people come into the land. And so then my question was, considering that all of Israel has not yet come into the land, have these years are they being calculated? And his view was no. That being said, did the Creator ever lose count of those things? And the answer to that would be nope. All right. So what is a mystery to us, and this was his conclusion, and I kind of tend to agree with this. What is a mystery to us is not a mystery to him, you know. And so the best we can do at this point is, well, just like you know a person by their fruit. When you start seeing the things that are happening that Messiah described and the prophets described, then you can kind of get an idea of the season. But to say 100%, no doubt about it, this is the year of Jubilee, I don't know. I would, you know, if you want to hear what Mark has to say about it, go to his website.
Would that be starting in the fall? Okay.
Because the trumpet would be blown on Yom Kippur.
Okay. Okay. The other thought is, and I'm sure everybody's asked this question a million times, but a lot of these laws, such as, you know, the land arresting every 7 years, that kind of thing, is that for when the people come into the land, or is that for the land, or does that
apply outside
the land? Yeah.
My view on that is the commandment is for the land. But I believe the principle applies everywhere. You understand what I just said? The commandment pertains to coming into the land of Israel, because that's set apart. Do we agree with that? Okay. But does that mean the principle can't apply everywhere? I believe it can. I believe it does, actually. In fact, one day the Torah goes forth from Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, with the implication of what? It's going to go out through the entire world, because he's going to rule and reign over the entire world. The kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our God and of his Messiah. So initially, it's commanded for the land of Israel, but I believe the principle applies throughout the world. I know that there are people in this room that have put that into practice, you know. So, yeah, I think it works. If that's your question, I think it works. I think it applies. Are we commanded to do that outside the land? Now, that gets into an area that everybody has to listen to the Spirit of God speak to them and lead them in what they should do and how they should do those things, you know.
Okay, that brings up the thought is, does that seventh year rest, Shabbat, is that also the Jubilee year?
No, not necessarily. I mean, you count 7 sevens, and after that seventh 7, which would be the 49th year, right?
Right.
Then you come into the next year, the 50th year, and that's when you proclaim the Jubilee.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I will tell you this, and I'll pull the pin on this grenade and toss it. And when I saw Mark here recently, I said, so if you're convinced that this is going to be the Jubilee, that means if Yeshua doesn't come this year, he says, then we're going to wait a little while. I said, okay, all right. So words to that effect. Interesting conversation. But he has the argument, and elements of it are very simple, makes sense. But for me to say definitively, I'm not. Okay,